Hola! Welcome to the Cinco de Mayo edition of Kids in the Kitchen with Parks and Rec. My name is Penny Green and I'm the assistant manager at the Burt Cobb Rec Center. And today I have my daughter, Casey,
Hola.
with me. We are going to go ahead and make some churros. Really sweet, yummy snack everyone loves. You are going to need either canned biscuits or cinnamon rolls, cinnamon and sugar, and vegetable oil. We are going to start, I already have my oil heated at about 350, and then we're gonna go ahead and take the cinnamon rolls.
Might not want to eat that part.
We don't need that part. And then these already have cinnamon on them, so, excuse me, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cut them in fours. And then you can either do them like long, like you get them at street fair. We like to do ours in little balls. Just like that. We're gonna cut those up. I already have some paper towel down on a plate to catch the grease once we get these things fried. And then these rolled up. All right. And we go ahead and drop them in the grease. The cool thing about this is you'll know they're done when they start floating. And then while Casey keeps cutting up our churros, I'm gonna go ahead and take the cinnamon and sugar and put them in a bowl. This is how we are gonna coat them. Have you set that over there for me? With this, it's preference. If you like a lot of cinnamon or you like a lot of, or you'd rather have more sugar, either way. This cooking project is gonna be for older chefs just because of the grease involved. If you wanna have the little ones help, it would be really fun for them once you take the churros out of the grease and let them cool for a moment, to have them put them in the cinnamon and sugar and shake them. All right, here's our first ones. And
Ooh, those look good already.
they smell delicious.
They really do.
I'll go ahead and get some more to drop in.
Here, I'm gonna do dirty.
What?
I'm gonna do dirty.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take some of the ones we just did. It's good to toss them in the cinnamon and sugar while they're still a little warm,
That way it sticks better.
just like that. Go ahead and
Smells so
get
good.
them back on our plate.
Okay.
This would be a real fun afternoon snack. It would be a delicious evening dessert, or, you know,
It would
They
feel
ki-
good with vanilla ice cream.
vanilla ice cream, or they kind of resemble donut holes. So, you know, why not? We've all been in quarantine. Everybody deserves donuts for breakfast. All right, so Casey, I'm gonna let you toss these ones
Okay.
while I get the rest of them in the grease. I got one more in here.
Okay.
All right. Fallen soldier. Excuse me. Hi. Excuse me. All right. Well, we get that last little batch to cook.
I'm gonna add a little bit more cinnamon sugar in here.
All right. Good job. I'll let you shake that up real quick. Give that a little toss to make sure they're browned all the way around. You first.
This one.
All right, I want this one. Cheers. Enjoy, guys. Happy Cinco de Mayo. So today we are going to make for you some really yummy fresh salsa. For this recipe, you will need tomatoes, onions, jalapeno, a little bit of garlic, salt and pepper, and if you like, some lime. And then don't forget the chips at the end to enjoy the food. First thing you're going to do is, I have about a half of an onion and 3 tomatoes. We've already started cutting up one of the tomatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting up the onion while Casey continues cutting up the tomatoes. This recipe is delicious for everyone to eat, but I would say little chefs need to be at least 8 and up with minimal supervision. Anyone younger than that might be able to assist with the stirring, but are more than likely going to have to be spectators on this recipe. I like chunkier salsa. I mean, Casey prefers not necessarily the restaurant style salsa, but something a little thicker than restaurant, but not as chunky as I like it. I like mine a little more like pico de gallo. So we are gonna compromise today. You just keep chopping that up the way you like it to the thickness of the vegetables. I'm gonna show you a couple different ways we can do this. If you have access to a blender, what I would recommend is taking the first tomato, and after you dice it pretty chunky like this, we're gonna go ahead and throw it in the blender. If you don't have a blender, then you can just use a potato smasher to help get some of the chunks down. So I'm almost done with my onion. How are you doing there, Case? Perfect. Now with this, something me and Casey like to do is we like to add cucumber to our salsa. It gives it like a nice fresh twist. If you want a nice fresh twist, try cucumber. If you want it real spicy, add a lot more jalapeno. I'm not one that can really handle a lot of the spice, so we are gonna be kind of liberal when we're adding it to our recipe. This can be canned after you make it. You would just have to follow any canning directions. Or if you choose not to, use the canning method, you can just keep it in the fridge for a good 2 or 3 days because it does not have preservatives. So we don't want it to spoil. So you'll have to eat it pretty quickly, but as yummy as this is, you shouldn't have a problem. So I got my onions diced up, and then I'm just gonna use my little blender, and I'm gonna take some of the tomatoes and stick them in there, like so. If you wanna add the onions and the tomatoes to our bowl, you can do that.
Yes, ma'am.
And then what we are gonna
Just
do...
add the rest here?
Mhm.
Okay.
Just like that. We're gonna go ahead and add this. And then Casey, if you'll go over to the cooler really quickly and grab that cilantro. And while she grabs that, I'm gonna go ahead and cut up our jalapenos. Now with the jalapenos, you can do it with or without the seeds. And I just like throwing it all in there as one.
If you do like the flavor of a jalapeno but don't want it as spicy, you can cut out the seeds. That does help.
And what Casey just did is she went over to our cooler and grabbed the cilantro. I didn't want it wilting while we were setting up, but we actually use cilantro from our garden. It's a really easy herb to grow, and you'll find that you can use it in lots of different recipes. And like what Casey was saying is, if you want the flavor without the spice, you can just remove the inner part of the jalapeno and remove the seeds, because that's where most of the heat is. If you want to go ahead and cut that last jalapeno up for me. And then, once we have that in there, I like to use a little bit of garlic because I don't like the hassle of, I don't like the hassle of having to take apart garlic. I just use the garlic from the jar, and I like to use 2 big teaspoons. After we have our garlic in, we're going to use some regular pepper. And then salt.
Is that about good on the size?
Perfect. You want to add those in there.
Here we go.
All right, and if you want to go ahead and cut that lime in half. So as you can see, we kind of have ours a bit chunky. If you wanted it a little more macerated, you could use the potato masher, and if you want to just put a couple squeezes of lime in there. Got it? Good job. And then, you got it?
Yep.
All right. Good job. And then, there you have it, our yummy fresh salsa. Let's grab a chip and dig in, Case.
Here you go, ma'am.
One for you. One for me. Cheers. Enjoy. We'll see you next time.